my garbage person of the week is Circuit Court Judge Kenneth K. Lee. But why? We're gonna go on a little journey together over the next few minutes to figure out why. Kenneth K. Lee was writing a decision on a case that had to do with Wesson oil and the phrase 100% natural, which was being labeled on it. The exact details of who's in the wrong or whatever are not really important, but really fast, we're gonna read just a little bit. So it said, simply put, Richardson, the new owner of Wesson Oil, can resume using the 100% natural label at any time it wishes, thereby depriving the class of any value theoretically afforded by the injunction, which I'm sure legally is a very important point, means nothing to me. But Kenneth K. Lee goes on to say, ConAgra thus essentially agreed not to do something over which it lacks the power to do. That is like George Lucas promising no more mediocre and schlocky Star Wars sequels shortly after selling the franchise to Disney. Such a promise would be illusory. So that is an analogy that Kenneth K. Lee is making. The issue is that that's not where it ends for Kenneth K. Lee. So if we zoom out to the full page of that decision, you can see that down at the bottom, there's actually a little footnote. And if we zoom into the footnote, to prove Kenneth K. Lee's point, Lee says, as evident by Disney's production of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. And how dare you, sir? You wanna make a point about oil and you have to drag The Last Jedi through the legal muck to make that point? Okay, if you don't like The Rise of Skywalker, I get it, buddy. A lot of people didn't. But what's up with The Last Jedi? You can't make your point without leaving that alone. It was experimental, it was bold, it was courageous. It wasn't necessarily the movie that Star Wars fans wanted, but it was the movie that they needed at that point. And for the judicial system, I feel assailed on all sides. And now I can't even turn to the courts without my most fundamental pop culture opinions being attacked. Jason, it's not fair.
John, I've never seen you have such a deep, moving response due to Star Wars, man. And we know what your triggers are, John. We know what your triggers are. But yeah, how dare he enter Disney and Star Wars?
Leave Ray alone.
Into the conversation. Yeah, Ray didn't even get a doll when they were making like Star Wars dolls. I remember that was a thing we covered on Pop Trigger. Yes. It was like when they were doing like female empowerment and they were using the Disney princesses and people. Yes. Ray didn't get a doll. People were pissed. How dare they shun Ray? Why is there so much shade around Ray? It's criminal.
Yeah, and by the way, look, when you're dealing with a judge, you're supposed to bring like a sound argument. And this is complicated. We only have another minute or so, but I will point out to the distinguished Kenneth K. Lee that on Metacritic right now, The Last Jedi is sitting at an 84%. So I don't know, maybe I'm not the only one that gets it. And by the way, one of my go-to movie reviewers, the great Alonso Duralde, said, Star Wars, The Last Jedi movie review, the thrills are strong with this one, purists may balk. But Rian Johnson's episode 8 is a ripping intergalactic yarn. So take that, Judge.
Zing, zing.
A ripping intergalactic yarn. Yes,
hey, if Alonso Duralde, zing, zing, buddy. If Alonso Duralde says it, hey man, it is law. It is law.
It is law. He's a great man. I miss doing movie reviews with him. Now that said, those are our garbage people. What about you? 33,000 of you, up until the point that our community tab crashed, went and voted this week. And we've got 5. Coming in at number 5 this week with 1% of the vote. It's Twitter conservatives for falling for Kenny Clip's pranks again, but thank you for doing so. Coming in at number 4 with 13% of the vote is Governor Greg Abbott for signing new awful legislation pretty much every day. We have a tie for 2 and 3, both with 14% of the vote. You have Curses Cinema for claiming the filibuster protects democracy and lying about it. And DeSantis for signing an anti-trans bill on the first day of Pride. So some overlap there with Jason. But number 1 this week with 59% of the vote and the community garbage person of the week goes to Michael Flynn for saying a military coup should happen in the US and then cowardly denying that he had said that when it's on video and we know what you said, buddy. So that is your garbage person of the week, Michael Flynn. Thank you to everybody who voted. For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/thedamagereport. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.